So for the roles and responsibilities of a special education teacher, I have learned a lot throughout my clinical practice. I've been able to see how much a special education teacher has to deal with on a day-to-day basis. And that's not necessarily even just with the students, but also other staff members and how they treat them differently and how they interact with the special education teachers. Um, so for roles and responsibilities, I did not realize prior to this experience like how much time it takes out of the school day to make sure that everyone is toileted, make sure everyone's fed. Like that takes out a large chunk of the school day. And also behaviors, if there's any big behaviors happening that can impact all the students in the classroom, which can cause the day to be very unproductive. So that's why managing, now you know it's not edited. That's why, hey baby, hey, let's just calm down. So that's why managing behavior is so important in preventing those kinds of behaviors, because it can really get everyone kind of out of whack whenever one student is causing a disruption. So content knowledge and skills. I've learned a lot about how to set up a classroom successfully, because the basis of like how your classroom looks and how students interact with it can also impact their behavior. And also can make it a more welcoming environment for the students if you make it more accessible to them, allow opportunities for them to be independent. So we've learned that in class. We've also learned about the roles and responsibilities of a special education teacher. We've also learned about how can we tie fun activities into content and make sure that students are learning. Like, how can we adapt a fun holiday activity into something that is productive and is working on something that the students are learning, which was really great. I love that. And that ties kind of into the personal dispositions, because I hope as a teacher that the students are really I first make sure that they are being as independent as possible. I like to make sure that the students are being pushed to take responsibility for their own messes and things, as you know, because some independence is not possible due to their disabilities, but as independent as they possibly can. Make sure that they are learning those different skills, not even just how to do them, but also letting them clean up after their lunch and things like that. It's easier for us to do it as teachers, but it's not teaching them to be responsible when we do everything for them. And that might be, I know at home, that's really difficult to deal with, because you are the one who's having to be responsible all the time, and you get so stressed out, you just gotta do it yourself. So they might not have those opportunities at home, so giving those opportunities in school is really important, to no fault of the parents. And so I think that I also want to make sure that any kind of break time, they're also learning. I want to embed learning into like everything, and really engage with the students and be very interactive with them, because from what I've seen in different environments, sometimes teachers kind of play more of a background kind of role, but I really want to be as engaged as I can with these students. I think that I really want to make sure that like they're learning like leisure skills. I've been really interested in the idea of like taking responsibility not for themselves, but also taking care of something else, and like a class pet kind of deal. And I never thought that that was possible before, but Dr. Ainsworth's class and Dr. Rains have proven otherwise. And I also want to make sure that they are getting the same opportunities and that the students in the general curriculum environment, and to really collaborate, because we've learned about collaboration and collaborating with those gen ed teachers or their homeroom teachers to make sure that if they're doing any fun lessons, how can we adapt that so that they can do it? And just making sure that they are able to get the same kind of experience as their gen ed peers, and that they are also exposed to their gen ed peers, whether that be through like morning meetings, and also changing morning meeting and making it more meaningful to the students is something that I also want to do. But that is a Opie. That is and that is my final reflection. So roles and responsibilities, teachers do so much. They have a lot of different IEPs that they have to deal with, making sure that goals are being met. They have a lot of data that they have to take on a day-to-day basis, and then also managing the classroom, managing the paras. These are things that I have seen. Content, knowledge, and skills. We learned a lot about how to make things meaningful and how to set up your classroom to avoid behaviors. Personal dispositions, and how I would like to focus on learning and making sure that they have the same opportunities as their gen ed peers. Thank you.